What's up, everybody, and welcome to another summer edition, even though it feels like fall episode of Morning Cuppa Hockey presented by Bet365. That's Colby Cohen. I'm Jonny Lazarus, and we have a great interview today that we are looking forward to with the newly extended Chicago Blackhawk, Frank Nazar. We're going to have him on in about 15 minutes. We'll talk to him for hopefully 30 to 35 minutes. I'll try to keep him for an extra 5 if we can, and Colby will yell at me after. But a lot to talk about going into today's show. Like I said, Colby, it's starting to feel like fall. You're seeing the ice sheets being put down in the arenas. Guys are back on the ice for captain's practices. Jonathan Toews hitting the ice in a Winnipeg Jets uniform, which is kind of weird to see. How you feeling? What do you want to start with today?
Where are you? Like, I feel like there's a lot of people when it comes to Taves that are like split and just retire. And then I think a lot of people are rooting for him.
I think it's cool. I think it's a good story.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm rooting for him to be great. Like, I would love to see this guy go have a great season, score 20 goals, and just like be healthy and feel good to finish his career sort of the way that he deserves to finish his career. And, you know, I don't use the word deserves that often because nobody deserves anything. But if there's a guy who deserves a good ending because the way that he has played and the way that he's sacrificed himself, it's Jonathan Toews. So I really hope that it's a smashing success for him in Winnipeg, and you know, maybe his leadership and experience is what Winnipeg needs to figure out how to win in the playoffs.
I don't think he gets them over the hump. Like, let's not.
Yeah, I don't think as a player necessarily, but I just think his experience and stuff, like it's meaningful. Right? Like saying the right things at the right time, getting guys prepared the right ways. Like, I do think there's not many current players with the experience that he has at winning. I would say who else in the NHL that is a current player besides Patrick Kane has
Kopitar?
Did Kopitar win 3 or did they win
2? He's won 2, but there's been a lot of like.
But as Kopitar hasn't won gold. Kopitar hasn't won gold medals in the Olympics. And like, you're talking about Jonathan Toews, who is like a member of the Triple Crown. And you're like, you know, it's a different level, Johnny. And that's why I mentioned that for maybe he's what helps get them over the hump, right?
Yeah. I mean, I also would argue that I don't think Winnipeg has a leadership problem, though. You know, it's not like he's going there and wearing a letter. Right? Like, not that you need a letter to be a leader, but
he doesn't. He doesn't need a letter. If he's in the dressing room, like, everyone's looking at him.
But you think he's a guy who's commanding that room right now, or he's going to ease himself?
I don't think Jonathan Toews has to open his mouth to command a sports locker room. I think his presence and his aura commands the room. And I've witnessed it. So he doesn't need to say 2 words. And I'm sure he will be quiet just because he wants the captains to be the captains. But, buddy, you're Jonathan Taves. Yeah. There's a group of players in that locker room that probably grew up watching you, honestly.
Yeah, it's a good point.
So we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. I think I saw Jeff tweet something the other day. Marek was like, I'm in the camp of people that are just like praying that this is or rooting for this to be a success story. And I hope everybody is. Like, why would anybody not be? I guess would be my question.
Yeah, I'm also. I think both of us aren't people who root for players to fail ever.
No,
and I don't think any Blackhawks fan would want him to suck either. Like, he was, you know, great there for over a decade, and he won them 3 cups, and you should want to see him do it. Same thing with Marchand, but Marchand was a little bit weirder. You know, like, people were happy for Marchand, I feel like, to win a cup, but they were pissed that he did it in Florida. You know, I think that's a different story. But it kind of feels like how Boston fans would feel about Marchand with the way Blackhawks fans would feel about Jonathan Toews doing what he's doing.
Yeah. Remember, though, 3 cups is a lot different than 1. You know, that's 3 cups with your city, especially a city like Chicago, where people are extremely passionate about hockey. Not that they're not in Boston. Like, you're talking about 2 of the greatest hockey markets in the world. But 3 cups, like, that's like being married and having a bunch of kids. 1 cup's like, yeah, we got married, we had like 1 kid, and then we got divorced or something like that. I mean, I know I'm like,
weird analogy.
I think I'm oversimplifying a little bit, but like 3 cup, like, I witnessed when I worked for Chicago, you can't truly appreciate what Taves and Kane meant to that city without like being there and talking to people and being around the fans and interacting and seeing them just walk into a room anywhere and everywhere. Like it's a different level. It's a Crosby type of level, for Pittsburgh and where a guy like Kopitar in LA, it's a smaller mark,
so different.
They don't give a shit. Like Marshy,
I wouldn't say Kings fans don't give a shit.
Yeah, but I just mean the city itself. Kings fans care, but like the city itself doesn't. I mean, does the city really?
The Kings will never be as big as the Lakers or Dodgers.
Yeah, and then with Marshy, like he won one cup there, but and he became like a legendary player. But again, it's not 3 cups, and he just signed for 6 years, whatever, with somebody else. So they got divorced, and then he got remarried pretty freaking quickly. Started popping out kids. You know what I'm saying? So. Am I freaking you out, Johnny, as things get more serious with your girlfriend? Like, as these analogies freaking you out?
You're not freaking me out at all. But I do have something funny to tell you after the fact off the air. Let's get into another topic. But before we do, I want to give a quick word from our sponsor, Proraso. Proraso is the most complete choice for shaving and beard care, made in Italy since 1948. Proraso has been a staple of Italian culture and barbershops globally for 4 generations. So get 50% off at Proraso-USA.com with our promo code Hockey15. Kind of sticking with that conversation, Colby, I want to ask you about Mitch Marner, because I've seen this video, this interview he did with TSN, and a lot of Leafs fans are giving it a lot of attention, a lot of hate. I saw Jay Rosehill have a little rant about it. And, obviously the guys like Steve Dangle and Zach and, Nick Alberga, all these Leafs fans talking about Marner. I don't feel like we need to, but in the conversation we were just having, is Mitch Marner going to Vegas a guy you're rooting for, or a guy that you kind of want to see? I don't want to say fail, but you don't need to see him win a cup. Like, to me, seeing Marner win a cup in Vegas would be like chef's kiss to Leafs fans. And I want to ask you a question as well. Like, obviously John Tavares and Islander fans are a different story, but do you think, or can you name a player and fan base that maybe those fans are rooting so hard for that player to fail, like Leafs fans are probably going to root for Mitch Marner the rest of his career? I know that's a lot that I just gave you, but you get what I'm saying, right? The Tavares Islander thing. Let me just phrase it this way, though, because the Islander Tavares thing is different. Like, Islander fans wanted him to stay. I feel like Leafs fans, half of them maybe wanted to see him go, half of them wanted to see him stay. So, maybe the half that wanted to see him go aren't going to care, and the half that wanted to see him stay are going to be like, fuck this guy. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's remember, he did do a sign and trade. He very easily could have walked himself into free agency, and he could have given the big middle finger on the way out. So I do think this latest sort of episode with the security thing and people are jumping on him and saying, oh, like, you're a baby. And then the Leafs kind of said something like, we looked at these security threats and they didn't happen. And I think when I see people kind of doubting and giving him a hard time about the fact that maybe him and his family didn't feel safe in Toronto, I would say that bothers me a little bit, because I got to tell you, man, like, I've worked on television now for a number of years, and like, there have been things that I've had to report to the National Hockey League when I was working in Chicago, and to the Blackhawks security people. And that the Frozen Four this year, there was an issue.
Oh, yeah.
We had to literally talk to the local FBI office because people are hitting you with death threats on social media. So, it's unsettling when you have a young family, you have a wife and children at home, and to know that there are people that are willing to send you things, even if they're like far-fetched, even if these people are just being drunk idiots. Like, it's unsettling. So, like, I believe that kind of stuff was happening to Marner. Whether the Leafs decided it was credible or not, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
It's unsettling for you or your family members to read these types of things. Like, when I'm at the Frozen Four this year, I'm literally having to tell my wife about what's going on, like, with all the crazy shit going on in the world. Like, I mean, it's like, so I think now people are really going to be rooting against Mitch Marner. I'm not. I hope he wins in Vegas.
Same.
I think he will win in Vegas, to be honest. Like, I think Jack Eichel is going to take his big contract extension here in the short future. And these guys are going to be line mates now for a very long time. And I think Jack Eichel is a much different player and much different leader than Auston Matthews. Okay. And I think those two guys are going to win together. And I think Bruce Cassidy is going to get a version of Mitch Marner that shows up that we haven't seen in playoff runs before.
I was just going to say the Jack Eichel different than Auston Matthews. Have you seen the conversation? I think it was Rupper who started it. And he said he's taking a healthy Jack Hughes over Auston Matthews. Have you seen that conversation?
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I don't really agree with that either.
And I'd love to get Rupper on here to talk about that because I'd love to hear him.
We should save that though for when the season starts and see how the guys are
listen,
playing.
We'll get Rupper on here and we'll ask him about that, right?
Yeah.
But listen, I've talked about Auston Matthews and the guys. I mean, he's on his way to being a Hall of Famer with his statistics. Like he's on his way.
Yeah.
I mean, if he keeps scoring at the rate he's scoring at, he may break Ovechkin's record one day. But we talk about the shortcomings with him and the leadership and areas. But I just think you're going to put Marner in a very different environment where it's going to be high stress because the coach, but it's not going to be high stress because it's Toronto. And listen, I think playing in Toronto is a privilege, getting to play in a market where people care about the game that much. But it's not for everybody. It's just not for everybody. And he didn't thrive in the biggest moments with the biggest pressure. And I think he will in Vegas. I expect him to be really successful in Vegas.
Do you want to make a bet?
Maybe.
I don't know if you'll feel this way or take the other side. I would bet you that Auston Matthews wins the Stanley Cup before Jack Hughes. I'm curious to see if you would take Jack Hughes in that argument. Or that bet, I guess, not an argument.
So we're completely leaving the Marner conversation, and you're just going.
Yeah, we're saying Matthews Hughes. The Marner conversation's done, but I still think the Leafs find a way to do it with Auston Matthews. I do.
Right.
I don't think he wins somewhere else.
I don't.
You think Jack Hughes and the Devils would win before Auston Matthews and the Leafs?
I mean, honestly, those are your number one centers. I don't know. Are either of them are going to win a Stanley Cup? If they're the number one centers, but I can't predict maybe late in their career when they're 36 or 7 years old and maybe they get traded and they end up as a second or third line center somewhere or a trade deadline acquisition. But as it currently stands, are either of those two players, in my opinion, taking their team to the Cup? Probably not. I don't see it, and that's why I think Marner is going to do really well with Jack Eichel. Everything that I know about Jack Eichel, I just think that guy, what he's turned into as far as a leader and a hockey player goes, I think Jack Eichel's a multiple Stanley Cup winner, and I think his teams will win because of him. He will be the driving force behind his Vegas team winning another Stanley Cup. And I can't say that about Matthews or Hughes right now, but I also recognize that we're talking about a couple of guys that are some of the best hockey players on the planet.
Of course.
It's we are literally talking about the top echelon of the National Hockey League, which is the best league in the world. So, but I fall more into Camp Eichel, I do. And that's where I think Marner is gonna thrive.
We're not even talking about that though.
Yeah, I know, but you're trying to drag me into what Mike Rupp said, and I'm not going there until we get Rupper on here, and we'll ask Rupper about it. You know,
all right, fair enough. Since we're on completely different pages right now, we might as well switch topics and get into Frank Nazar. But before we bring on Frank, just want to give a quick word from our sponsor, Outwest. From early morning skates to late night league games, Outwest polos are built to keep up with lightweight, breathable, and made to move fabric. They're clean, sharp, and built for guys who don't want to wear the same thing as everyone else. So head to outwest.us and use code Cuppa, CUPPA, in all caps for 15% off of your order. And with that, let's bring on our guest, Frank Nazar. Frank, what's going on, man? Pumped to have you here.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. I've actually been talking to a lot of guys about you all day. Some name drops I'll give are Marshall Warren, Doyle, and Tage Thompson. I was talking to those three guys a little bit today.
Yeah, those are my guys.
They're great dudes. Love Marshall and Nolan especially, but Tage I also want to get into a little bit later.
Where's Marshall Warren playing now? He was the kid who went from BC
Islanders
to Michigan, right? Because he was with you at the Frozen Four that second year. I think you were at the Frozen Four, right, Frank?
Yeah, he was in Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah, he was drafted, I believe, by the Wild, and then he signed with the Islanders. So he's with the Islanders AHL team, but he's going to Islanders camp. He's got a shot to make that team. Rooting for him. But I was talking to Tage today. first of all, congrats on everything, by the way. USA
Thank
Olympic
you.
camp,
Yeah,
the
thank you.
contract. We don't want to stick to the basics. We want to ask you the fun stuff. Taves was telling me that you guys didn't even touch the ice. So was this just like some sort of company retreat? I know you've probably never been on one of those, but that's what it sounded like.
Company retreat.
Yeah, basically, really it was like getting to know the guys and kind of like get the group together to kind of understand each other and get some chemistry building and really just go over like the basics of like the rules and what the cans and can't do. And really it's like we're just having a good time.
A certain amount of time before the Olympics, right?
Right, no shooting up. I had to put it away for the year, but it's fine.
The Olympics would be
I'm
so much
kidding.
better if everyone was on steroids.
Well, let's test it out.
Sure.
Why not? Right?
Wait, have you guys ever heard of they're gonna do like a do you remember? Okay, you guys probably don't remember this. You guys ever seen highlights of like American Gladiators? This is when I was like a young kid.
No.
And it was on TV. Our listeners will know American Gladiator. And
it's coming back. I heard that.
It was like this like competition, and they wore these like crazy like spandex outfits, and like people would try to hit them with shit. It was wild. I heard they're bringing something like that back, and they're letting everybody take steroids while they do it. And it's literally going to be like the steroid Olympics, and it's going to be like pretty crazy. That made me think of it, but obviously
we've got Frank Nazar for 30 minutes. Let's talk about steroids and American Ninja Warrior.
Not American Ninja Warrior. All right, get it right. Go ahead, Johnny.
Sorry. Frank, just want to ask you again, like, what it was like being with all those guys. I know you were with a lot of them at the Worlds, but was it kind of like an eye-opening feeling just sitting in a room with, some of the biggest names in USA hockey, even though you've grown up in it?
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I mean, obviously super intimidated when I walked into the room with all those guys in there. But as soon as you kind of get a feel for who they are as people, and every guy in there was a great guy. Like, took me in, super nice, like talkative, and chat me up, and congratulations, like all that stuff. And it was really good, just like for I guess myself going in my second year, being able to meet all those guys and kind of get build a good chemistry with them.
Mm-hmm.
Did you happen to see any of the things that Patrick Kane said about you after like you signed, and about like the Olympic camp? Like, did you catch any of that stuff?
I saw a little bit about it, just one clip, but yeah, it was. I mean, can't believe he said that. Like, it's pretty awesome to hear someone like him say something like that. But like skiing with him this whole summer has been such a blast and so awesome to learn from him and beat them in those mini games we've been playing.
Well, I could just tell you this. I don't know how well you've got to know him, but like, he doesn't say those things just to say those things. And so his comments, like for guys that really like know him well, as you're obviously getting to know him well, like those are serious comments, because he's the type of guy that will just say nothing. Like, he's not going to throw a guy under the bus. He's not going to shit on anybody, but he'll just say nothing. So for him to like go out of his way to talk about you like that, you've obviously left quite an impression. And, he's a living legend in the city that you're going to spend a good chunk of your career in, obviously, with the contract that you just signed. So is he a guy that like you watched growing up, I assume? And probably, I would think he would have been at least one of your favorite players growing up. No?
I mean, he's the GOAT, right? Like, he's literally the GOAT. So it's obviously I grew up watching him and basically trying to model my game and do stuff like him. But
even as a Red Wings guy, though, you still idolized him. Weren't you a Red Wings fan growing up?
Yeah, but I'm also an American. Like, it's
yeah.
He's honestly, in my opinion, probably the greatest American player ever. Mm-hmm. And I think the coolest moment.
I think he is. That's that's pretty much factual at this point.
Yeah, I would say that too. I think the coolest moment was I think it was the summer after I got drafted. Maybe the year after. I was in Chicago, just like skating and training, and I was like in the bathroom or something, and he was at the rink for some reason, and he like walked in and he was like, "Oh, hey, Frank," and like said hi to me, and he like knew who I was. I like never met him, I was like, that was pretty sweet. I was like, "Oh, damn!" I was like, he knows my name, I was
shake his hand, your hands all sweaty.
Yeah, I'm shaking and stuff. But I mean, here's the thing: it's like I've never really ever been like starstruck or like nothing. I don't want to say starstruck, but I've never been like,
yeah, of course,
like, oh wow, like it's great, like crazy, like me and him. But like seeing him for the first time was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I have like a weird question to ask, but there's a story that follows it. So don't take it too literally how I ask this, okay? Because we're kind of speaking about teammates and starstruck and all that. But did you have a teammate on Chicago that you happened to be scared of?
Scared of?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Like in the beginning, I was like, this is kind of weird, but in the beginning, I was super scared of Patty.
Okay,
Like,
that's where I was going.
In the beginning. Okay. Yeah.
So
But,
I was texting with Pat today. And he goes, ask Frank about when I snapped on the team about turnovers and then roasted him a period after when he turned the puck over. I think I might have scared him, but he's a great kid.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Did he give it to you pretty good or what?
That was the scariest moment of my hockey career, honestly. I thought he was gonna rip my head off.
All right, so give us the story. What happened?
Yeah, give us the story.
I mean, I don't even remember the full thing, but it was basically we started a game. We weren't playing too well. We were just turning pucks over in the neutral zone at the blue lines. I was kind of having a bad start to the game. I was like, couldn't handle puck, losing it, stuff like that. And we literally go into intermission. He's like screaming at us in the locker room. He's like, "Don't turn over the puck. You get it in. Get to work." Like all this. Like he's like, "You want to play for the team, not yourself." Like yelling at us about that. And legit, I get out there like first shift, and I try to like dump it in. I can. I try, and then I go to make a move and like toe drag at the blue line. The other team takes it and goes down the other way, and I sit down on the bench, like my head down, and he's always at the one end of the bench, like he's always in the same seat, and he's sitting there like standing over me, just giving it and like leaning in there. This was before I really got to know him and kind of like gain his trust and like understand him. And oh wow, I was like, this guy's gonna hate me the rest of his life.
So did you like? Was there like an icebreaker moment after that? Like, did he come up to you and say anything to you after? Did you go up to him or sit next to him at some point, or did you just kind of like, I need to keep my distance from this guy for a minute?
No, I think I just went out with the rest of the game and kind of just played to what he was saying and kind of followed the rules there. And then, I mean, as the year went along and start to get to know him better and kind of, there was one night, like he had a few of the guys over his house and I was like, I don't know if I can go, scratching my head. And then I end up going and, we were talking about it, laughing. And, he's like, dude, no, he's like, I just love you so much. Like I care. And
yeah,
I mean, he's an unbelievable guy. You find out like he cares so much. So.
Yeah. He was on our show every week last year. Like he did once a week with us all season long. Our show during the regular season, we go live every morning, Frank. And Patty was on with us all the time. So, I've known Patty since we were like 18-year-old kids, but Johnny's kind of got to know him now as well too. So
I love that guy.
We were getting like the ins and outs of what was going on from him in Chicago all throughout the year. And he only ever said that he had high hopes for you to us.
Yeah.
Like he did
everybody
go out of his way to say like, this kid is super talented. If he puts it together, like he'll be a good player. So he might have been hard on you, but he's definitely always been in your corner.
That's awesome to hear. Wow. Thank you.
I kind of want to go back. Like you get drafted because I don't know if people we always remember like what just happened. Like you just signed this big extension, and that's like what we're all focused on. And like, listen, congratulations, we're proud of you for it. Like you're an American, we're rooting for you no matter what here. But
thank you.
Like I remember 2 years ago, or even 3, maybe it was like you have an injury, you barely get to play your freshman year, and you and I talked at the Frozen Four that year, and like you were like you were disappointed. Like you wanted more. Like you knew what kind of player you were. You barely got to play, and then like 24 months later, here's $46 million and an 8. Like I mean, the whirlwind. I don't think people realize like how quick you've ascended into this position. Like, do you stop and think about it at all? Like, is it real? I mean, like, it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit it right on the tee. It's pretty insane, just the transition of going from travel to juniors to college to pro, and like the ups and downs of all of it, and being injured that first year at Michigan and only playing those last 13 games. And I mean, I was not a great hockey player those last, I was like, I was good, but I wasn't great. Like I knew I could have done better. And honestly, like you can look at it in two ways. You go in a negative way and be like, oh man, like what if I didn't miss that year? Like I could have done way better this last year, and and maybe sign for more money. Like that's not what I'm thinking, but like, or you could look at it in a good way. Like okay, like yeah, I had to take some time off due to injury, but I got better mentally, and maybe I needed that little bit of a refresher and some motivation going into the next summer and the next year. And it's always, there's always some positive out of it. And like seeing that just progression throughout the years, and kind of just learning from so many different guys and different mistakes and other things. It's pretty insane how quick it all happened.
Mhm. I wanted to build off that too. Like the one thing that Nolan told me when I texted Nolan about you today, he said like you got to ask him about his first goal. Like he scores against Michigan State at Little Caesars Arena, duel in the D, and he does like the "I'm back" like Selly. And honestly, Marshall also said the same thing. Like Michigan State had our number, but every time it was Frank scoring the goal against Michigan State. Like growing up in Detroit, were you a Michigan kid who hated Michigan State and you just like thrived in those games? Like what was that like for you?
Oh, I mean, the moment I knew I was going to Michigan, I was like, I'm never wearing green again. It's
Yeah.
it's something like that. And we took it so serious there, like on campus too. Like if there's ever a weekend coming up where we're playing state, it was like no one's allowed to wear green at all.
Mhm.
And if you do, it's like you're running laps, or like you're paying a fine, and you're shirtless the rest of the day. And I mean, just that opportunity to come back and play my first two games, and it just happens to be like basically our last weekend playing against state. I kind of was like, there's no way I can't end these games without my first goal or first point or something. And to do it in the duel in the D, being from Detroit downtown at the LCA, it's just what a great moment. It was it was unbelievable.
That's when you look back on it, it's like probably a top 3 goal for you, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah, I mean just the circumstance, and like a bunch of our guys getting kicked out the night before because of fighting. So it's
Oh
like
yeah.
we already have a low bench, and um, I mean bunch of family and friends in the stands and everything. And like that's one where like you look up to the gods and the hockey gods, and you say thank you.
Mhm. My last one about Michigan, I'm sure Colby, you might have more about college and whatnot. We obviously want to, talk about NHL and stuff, but we had a Rucker on here the morning after Michigan won the national championship. And that in football, obviously. And that
Yeah.
week, I think you guys had won World Juniors that week.
Oh
So
yeah.
I want to hear about that week. You come home from Sweden after winning gold, and then Michigan wins the national championship. Is that the best week of your life?
Ah, no, I mean it was I
I
mean,
could
come
give
on.
him 46 million reasons it's not the best week of his life.
I don't know. That's a pretty good party week.
I mean, it was an unbelievable week, but I mean, it was really the craziest part was just walking through the streets and seeing like people burning couches and like throwing stuff, and like you can't even drive your car. It's like everything's just blocked off because it's just everyone's there. I mean, it was an unbelievable time for the campus and for everyone there, and I mean, even for the hockey team, like we had a game going, and we were like on the ice for warm-ups in like 20 minutes, and we're all looking out the window, and it's just like the football team's coming around like on the parade, and it's like JJ McCarthy and like everyone holding up the trophy. I didn't. It was honestly it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, well, you had a pretty good. I mean, I went back and looked at your national team too, like before you went to Michigan. I mean, Howard, Cutter, Casey, Rutt. I mean, Logan Cooley, Snuggerud. I mean, that's a Lane Hudson. Was he a year younger than you, Lane, or was he on that team?
No, he
with
was on our team. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
was on our
mean,
team.
what a ridiculous group.
Yeah.
It was stupid. Yeah,
Like
absolutely
just
stupid.
practicing with those guys every day had to be like an absolute who's who of hockey. And then you guys have all now, I mean, that's a real successful group coming out of, well, you guys, were you in Plymouth or were you in Ann Arbor? Would you guys already make the switch?
Yeah, so it would have been a few years in the Plymouth already, but I mean those days it was legit a war zone out there at NTDP with all of our guys. Like we had a competitive group, and like we had a bunch of fights in practice, and
Who was the coach?
like
Really?
Adam Nightingale.
Okay,
Hmm.
Michigan State coach now.
Yeah, so it was we had a great group, great team. Like everybody hung out with everyone, and
Mm.
we had a lot of fun. I mean,
Yeah.
but we competed hard.
So what's that like in Chicago though now? Like you're talking, like you've got Bedard, now Renzel joins the party. There's, Ryan Green, I'm sure you got to meet. Vlas, who's not an old man, even though he probably acts like an old man.
Moore.
Who was that?
Yeah. Oliver Moore, like all these kids.
It's an exciting time, right? You've got a young general manager who believes in you guys. You've got a bunch of young studs that are all kind of cutting their teeth at the same time. You're in one of the greatest hockey markets in the world. So what is all that like? I mean, and now you've got this big 8-year contract that like comes with a lot of expectations.
Yeah, I think if you guys go back and look at kind of our record and how well we did once a lot of the younger guys came up and we were basically like, I mean, our blue line's under 24 now, it's like, It's pretty crazy. But once a lot of those college guys signed and came and started playing with the team and honestly, our whole team was just young guys. We started to do well. I don't know what it was, but like we finished the last maybe 8 or 9 games, almost basically 500. And I think like really it's just, we were just having fun. And I mean, what do we got to lose? Like we're going out there and we're going to play our hearts out. And, if we leave it all out there and we don't come up on top, like we're going to get better next summer and we're going to do better the next year. And I think really it was just like us having fun, like hanging out outside of the rink and doing stuff together as a team and really just enjoying those nights that we get. And, like this is the start of it. This is just the beginning and being able to, spend these times, just getting to know each other and have a blast and creating core memories.
We have a challenge for you.
How good is the anthem at the UC?
It's unbelievable.
Pretty ridiculous, right?
Yeah, it gives me chills every game.
Yeah.
Frank, no, I was just going to say, Colby and I are guilty of saying it. Like, we'd be lying to you if we didn't say it. But a lot of people say, like, even though the Sharks and Blackhawks are both, toward the bottom of the standings, it just feels like the Sharks are a better vibe. So, from what you're saying, like, we need to hear it. We need to see better vibes out of the Blackhawks. Like, who's the vibe guy in the room out of the young guys? To me, like, if I were to guess, it's probably Oliver Moore. I met that kid once. He's a fucking beauty. Like, that kid's hilarious. But, tell us who the personality is, like, of this young group that's, when things are tough, it's going to be the guy who's having fun and keeping guys loose.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good question. I think we get a lot of those guys. I think Vlasic's unbelievable with that. He's just like, he's sneaky funny. Like, like he might seem like a super serious guy, but then
crazy deep voice.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's because he's so tall. It's just like he'll crack just like a joke and he'll hit you later, and you're like, dude, that was hilarious. Like this guy's so funny. I mean, Slags is just always happy. This guy's like legit the happiest guy and nicest guy ever, and so like I don't even know how to describe it, but. And then Morsey's like the Energizer Bunny. This guy just like, he's always like shaking and moving and like doing something and like laughing and smiling and he's unbelievable. Like getting to know him this last summer and this last little bit has been great. He's hilarious.
Well, I wonder now too, like you just name all those guys. It's like a college hockey all-star team that you guys are building there. Let me ask you this. So Gavin McKenna chose Penn State. Obviously the rules have changed. If Connor Bedard was going to play college, like now that you've played with him and like where would he have fit? Would he have been a Michigan boy? Like where would he have ended up?
That's a good question. I think we actually might have I can't remember if we've asked him this or not. I tried to pry it out of him where he would have gone.
Northwestern is
he's a big basketball fan, isn't he? I feel like he'd pick a good basketball school.
Yeah, he loves basketball. He actually loves football too. I could see him going somewhere, maybe like a Nodak or like a BU, like something like that. Like,
all right,
known for football and basketball.
He loves Providence too. I don't know why. I think he's got a few buddies there, but he loves.
He probably could have played on the basketball team at BU. They weren't very good, so Connor probably could have made with his athletic ability. He might have had an opportunity to play point guard or something.
He's got a good shot
at BU.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bedard, I'm sure you get a lot of questions about him, but I want to hear about because you guys got the misconducts together in Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember hearing you talk about it like after the game in a scrum. I think you were saying like, yeah, I was back to the bench and the guys were like, get in there. Like, can you talk about you guys getting the misconducts together? I think it was like both of your firsts, and were you sent to the room right after?
Yeah, there's only a few minutes left in the game, so they just sent us right to the locker room. We both get in there, and he's like slamming his gear down, and we're both pissed off. Like, what, like, dude, like, what the hell? We're all mad. But I don't know exactly what happened, but he gets in there, and their guys are kind of just like pushing him and kind of trying to bully him. I'm like, dude, like, what's going on? And all the guys on their bench are like, oh, get in there and help. So I turned around and skated right by. And it's funny because we actually started like roughing up. It was Connor Garland. Like he was in the mix and he got kicked out with us. And
Scrappy guy.
At the time, I'm like, this dude sucks. Like, who is this guy? And then a few months later, I'm on the same team as him. And, I'm sitting in the locker room next to him. I'm like, oh, like, who is this guy? And then you get to know him. And it's like, oh, this guy's a beauty. Like, this guy's unreal. He's hilarious.
Did you tell him you thought that?
Played 500 games in the NHL.
Yeah, 100%. And he's dirty. He's nasty.
What was your welcome moment? Like, was there a good or bad? It's funny because like you were talking about Vlas. Like I remember early, maybe like in his first few games in the league, we were out in San Jose. I just so happened to be doing the game that night. Eddie O didn't take that road trip, so I was calling the game, and he like had 2 shifts in a row, like turnover, then walk. And it was just like, oh, like, and like, I love the kid. He's a BU guy. So like, I'm protecting him on the air. I'm not really saying anything about it. So I just like remember that moment for him. Like, did you have a good or bad one, like early on?
Scored in his first 10 minutes.
Yeah, but sometimes it's like getting run over or somebody talking shit to you. Like, you never really know how these things go.
Yeah. I mean, I've had games that are rough, but I think like before that, I've had great games, it kind of made up for it. But I think one thing, my first game, I don't remember exactly what it was, but like I was feeling it, obviously. Scored my first shot, won the first face-off. My first face-off was like Eric Stahl. Ref helped me out.
You and Mario Lemieux, first shot.
Sorry, Jordan Stahl. And so the puck gets chipped out towards like the far blue line. And I'm racing after with Burns, and I try to give him a little pre-bump, and he hits me first. And I slide into the boards and kind of like go near their bench. And I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but like their whole bench was like, F you, like,
yeah.
I don't want to say it, but
yeah,
they're like, call me names and stuff. And
how do the guys feel about the selling? Because you're one of the guys who like sellies hard every time you score. Like,
I love it. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, right? Like we're there to entertain. Like, how are you not excited to score a goal in the NHL? Like, if you're not smiling or selling, like, dude, you just scored in the NHL. What are you doing? Like, no one can say that.
Yeah,
and that's how I feel.
Nice feed by Jonesy.
This Selly is actually, man. Look at this Selly on his first goal.
Why not? The UC's bumping. Is that your family? Can you see the highlight?
I don't think in that clip that was my family, but they are. There's one of my grandma, and she's like going insane. She's like freaking out and went pretty viral. It's pretty good. But no, I'm a huge Selly guy. Like, you gotta Selly because why not? But
you think it'll be that way forever? I hope you are,
dude. I got right. You gotta.
I mean. Ovechkin celebrates like it's his first goal every single time. Like, so why can't anybody else? Like, if he does it, he scored more than any human who ever played.
That's what I'm saying. I've been getting chirped. I've been selling in practice. Like, I'd score in a game winner or something. And get chirped. But
Kaner's a big celebrate guy too. Like, he celebrates every goal that he scores too. Like, he's had a shitload of them as well.
Yeah. He's pretty funny. I like to sell. You try to get under his skin, or JT Confer skating with him a little bit. Try to make him mad by giving him a nice sally right by him.
I only got 2 more for you, Frank. We don't want to keep you too long. We're really appreciative of your time.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you guys are good.
My first one, I guess I'll leave you with the Chicago one in the end. But seeing Mackey win the Stanley Cup, like, I remember the first time I saw like a friend of mine or like a peer win the cup, and I was like, holy shit, like, I can't believe I know that guy. Like, I know that guy. Like, it was such a crazy feeling for me. Like, what was it like for you? Did you go to his party?
I wasn't able to go, but it's pretty insane. Like seeing just the photos of him with his family and like, I mean, what was he had his dog in the cup and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of that whole throughout the whole playoffs, you're just waiting for it to happen because I mean, watching you're like Florida's dominating everything. Like they're not gonna lose. Like I feel like they're gonna win. And I mean, I've been rooting for him this whole season. Just want him to have a great year, and to end that way is just so crazy that like even that I was just there with him, and I mean he's what 22, 20.
Yeah, I think so. Something
Yeah,
like that.
he's like a year or two older than I am, and I mean he just won his first cup. That's unbelievable. Like just I mean he earned it and he deserves it. Just like what an unreal experience.
Great
I mean,
kid too.
even Jonesy, like going from playing with us for the first half of the year, like I mean,
Good for
dude,
him.
he played with Chicago, like he suffered some bad years with Chicago, and then he goes to the best team in the league and wins a cup. Like I mean, and he played his way through. Like he deserved it. He was lights out for him. So
I think a lot of people forgot how good he was, and I think everybody remembers now. And I mean, Johnny and I did a who we think's going to make the Olympic team. You know, like where we looked at the World Cup roster, Frank, and like we picked the few guys we would maybe sub in or sub out.
yeah,
And I to me, Jonesy becomes a no brainer. Like I think when that guy's playing well, I just don't think there's many guys who are as physically gifted as he is. Like he's a freak of nature. He's so athletically gifted.
yeah, it's pretty insane. Like I mean, I got nothing but good things to say about him. He assisted on my first goal, so
It's nice
owe
little
him a lot
slip
there.
too.
Yep.
And just my last one. This is actually from a couple of my best friends, Zach and Max Calter, live in Chicago. They're Chicago born and raised. You know, they go to every Blackhawks game. They just want to know like what your spot is in Chicago. And obviously, we don't want people to stalk you, but where are you hanging out when you're not at the rink?
Oh, trying to think. That's a tough question. Honestly, like I hate.
You
to
guys are
say
probably
it,
ripping Tao.
Nobody goes to Tao anymore.
Dude,
Really?
honestly, I hate to say it, but like you asked the wrong guy. Like it's not me. Like
What about
I
restaurant? What's your go-to
yeah,
restaurant? That you got to know.
I like. I mean, obviously Gibson's is unreal.
Up in like that little area up in like they call it the Viagra Triangle, I think, but that little
I don't even know
hangout
where
where
it's
all those
at.
dudes drive like Bentleys and shit.
Honestly, I don't even know. I'm still trying to learn the city more. Um, there's like Prime and Provision. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
pretty
good
good.
spot.
Yeah, it's a good spot. I don't know. Like I like to try new places. I don't really have a set spot.
All
I'm
right.
like trying to like I'll
Chicago
find new
Cut's
places
really
to
good
try
too,
out.
right on the river. That's really good too.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see. I've never been there. I'm still trying
Yeah.
to figure it out.
All right. Well,
Who are you living with?
Just by myself.
Oh, wow. Mature.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was in a hotel for a whole year, bro. It was
Oh,
insane.
geez.
Well,
yeah.
I think you can get a place now, Frank.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to wait for the 14-day letter anymore. I think you can. I'll text Kyle when we get off the show and I'll ask him just to confirm. But I think you can get a place.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Listen,
yeah.
hey,
Thank you so much, Frank.
Yeah, of
listen.
course.
We wish the world of success to you. You go and help us get a gold medal at the World Championships and a World Junior gold medal. You're going to help make hockey in Chicago great again because that city deserves to have a good team.
Can I actually ask one more?
Yeah, go for it, dude. I don't have anything going on.
Interrupt me, Johnny. You love to do it.
No, sorry, Colby. Well, we didn't even bring up the World Championships, but like that was a big coming out party for you. I feel like who'd you like gravitate toward the most? Like a guy that you didn't know prior. And maybe Connor Garland you already answered, but
yeah, no, there. I mean, obviously, I talked to a bunch of guys there, but like one of the main guys was Swayman.
Okay.
And I didn't realize like just how much of a beauty and a good guy is, and I'm sure that you can ask any player around the league, and like they'll say the same thing. But I think that was my first time going to a tournament with such high end guys and guys who played in the league for a long time. And for a guy like him to gravitate more towards like a younger guy like myself and sit in the lobby and play some cards with like me and Isaac Howard and to hang out with us rather than go on and hang out with like some of the other older guys or vets from the league was made me feel a lot more comfortable and kind of like felt like I'd be myself. And I mean, he was just an unbelievable guy and super fun to be around.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thanks, Colby, for letting me ask.
That's all right. Listen, as I was saying, like I got an opportunity to be exposed to the hockey market in Chicago, and I'd love to see that team get back to being a team in contention. Like there's so many good people in and around the United Center. That is a fan base that showed up every single night the years that I was working there, and the team was terrible. And they kept coming and they kept supporting the team. And there's just a lot of good people in and around the city of Chicago. So we'd love to see you help that team get back on track. We're rooting for Kyle Davidson. He's been on our show a number of times. When he's done a great job. Look at the players that he's drafted, and they're all starting to make their way into the National Hockey League. So we'll be rooting for you, Frank. And hey, listen, go tear it up and make the Olympic team. You might as well, right? I mean, it's going to be an uphill climb for you, but you might as well do it. I mean, why not, right?
Why not? Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Make sure when Brandon Naurato calls you for some NIL donations, you tell him, no, you guys have football money. You don't need my money, okay?
I'll try.
I actually messaged him today. He didn't respond, but
all right, see you, Frank.
Damn. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right. Who'd you message today? Brandon Naurato?
Naurato, yeah. Well, I met him at the draft. We follow each other. So I said we're having Frank Nazar on tonight. If you got anything like funny or cool to bring up, would love to, hear a story from you.
He's a good dude, Brandon Naurato. He probably didn't see it. Like, I don't think he's the kind of guy that would ice you. We should have him on the show at some point. I mean, he's got a super interesting background, like going from being a pro scout and pro skills coach, and then he's assistant, and then he's head coach at Michigan. Like, we should get Brandon Naurato on. I have a lot of respect for the way that he's doing his business out there at Michigan. So I'm obviously just taking a stab at and making a joke there, just because Michigan is going to be a great team this year, and they've got a lot of really exciting players come into play there. So Frank Nazar obviously was a hell of a player there. But it is interesting, like a guy who didn't get a chance to play a ton that first year in college.
Yeah.
Just look how quick he's ascended. He didn't need a lot of time in the American League, and then he gets a nice big old ticket. So good for him. It was good talking to him. He's certainly a guy on the rise. I think he'll have more points than Alexis Lafreniere will next year, but
you do?
I do. Yeah. I don't see how he wouldn't, but I'm sure I can get you on a sucker's bet for that one.
Definitely could.
It's
funny though. I kind of wanted to bring it up, but like, not really. Like, it's cool when we see these guys. Like, I got to call, you got to call a game, I'm sure, of Frank's. Like, I called a Michigan UMass game his sophomore year. And, it was actually one of my favorite games because UMass came back in the third period down 2-1, but Frank had the first goal of the game. Like, he was a standout guy. And for you and I specifically, it's always cool to like be so close to the college game and like watch these guys and like recognize them, at that level, and then see their progression, I guess, through the NHL. Like the way you phrased that question about like the struggle of freshman year and not scoring his first goal until February. And then 2 years later, he steps into the NHL, scores in his first game, signs a big ticket. Like, it's crazy, how everyone's path is so different. But like for you and I, sometimes I guess I take it for granted that, we get to see these guys. Like I called that game. It's like him, Rucker, Brindley, all these guys on Michigan who are now household names in the NHL.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, no, listen. And it's also humbling. Yeah. Because you watch these guys and you just truly never know. Guys you're sure are going to make it, don't. Guys you're unsure, do. Guys are better pros than college players. We were talking about Alex Vlasic. Like, Vlas had a good career at college, but he certainly wasn't as good as he is in the National Hockey League.
Wasn't a standout.
Right? Hell no, not like this, right? So, good for Frank. He stayed with it. He again started in Rockford this year. It's not that long ago, and that's a good message for people. Like, it's not a sprint, it's maybe a shorter run for some guys, but like it's a marathon. And look, yeah, he's got his big contract, but he's only played 56 games in the NHL. He's got a hell of a long way to go here, right? And he's got to go earn and live up to that contract, and I think he will. Right, the kid's a hard worker, and he's got a great attitude, and like I said, we'll be rooting for him. So I think Blackhawks fans will like that interview. I think they'll appreciate it. It is September 3rd. It's 7:22 in the evening on September 3rd. We figured it was okay to delay a day because Frank was such a good guest, and we wanted to have that opportunity to have him come on. So
haven't seen him do much media either. Like, it was cool to be one of the first, shows to like really talk to him.
Yeah, humble guy. Like, you can sort of tell he's a very, very humble guy. And like, you had an interesting look on your face when I was asking him about the Patrick Kane comments. Did you not see those? Is that why you were?
It was on Chief's show, wasn't it?
Maybe I saw it floating around the internet. I mean, he's talked about him a couple of times.
I don't remember exactly what he said. That's why I kind of was like, oh, I didn't.
I mean, it was like I said, like if you suck, like Kaner will let you know. So it's good. It's you say that about a guy, it's meaningful. So all right, let's keep moving along here, John. I think there was a couple of other things you wanted to hit on today, right?
Yeah, I got to get running too. So just want to give a quick word from our sponsor, Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. So download the app and get in on the game. You must be 19 or older. And while we have Frank Nazar on and we're talking Chicago Blackhawks, we obviously got to talk about Connor Bedard. Right now, his over-under for points is set at 70.5. The over is -115. The under is -105. I am slamming that over. Bedard's been a 60-plus point guy in his first 2 years. I got to imagine he's going to have a much better year this year and put up 71 points, I guess, would be the way to win this bet. I actually heard, the guys on Spit and Chicklets talking about Bedard this week. I think, Biz and Witt were talking about him scoring 38 goals and like how I think Witt originally said like 38 goals would be a disappointment, but then he backtracked and said, actually 38 goals is a lot. That'd be a great year. I mean, Bedard's only scored 22 and 23 in his first 2 years. And now we're going to talk about him scoring 40, right? Like, pretty wild stuff, but 61 points.
People are freaking out about his like summer highlights, Bedard.
Yeah.
So I think going from 20 to 40 is a pretty big jump. But listen, if you're a superstar and you're a generational talent, like those are the types of things you do, right? Like if you're that. So I think it's going to help him having a healthy a healthy, confident, full-time Frank Nazar in the NHL this year, right? I mean, he's definitely lacked top-end speed and top-end skill to play with. Well, here's a guy by the name of Frank Nazar, top-end speed, top-end skill. So I mean, it's an undersized marriage, but it could be a good duo.
What's in the marriages today?
Try to find another winger to play with those two guys or whomever you see fit. So, we'll see. I think that contract's going to look really good for Kyle Davidson fairly quickly.
I agree. But that's all I got today. We are working on a guest for, next week, obviously, as usual. I'll actually be out in Vegas Monday through Wednesday doing my skate around the ice videos for Player Media Tour. So I'll have a lot of cool content coming next week. But we are trying to get another young NHL guy who's played, a handful of games in the league and trying to make a name for himself. So stay tuned for that next week. We'll probably have that out Wednesday, I imagine, but we'll figure it out schedule-wise. I guess Sunday or whatnot. But Colby, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Good luck in your roller hockey playoff game.
Yeah, big game.
Big game for you tonight. So good luck, and we'll go from there.
All right. Love you guys. Talk to you next week.